Good morning. It's Saturday morning, early. It's almost 7:30, and I'm getting ready to make breakfast. And I thought I would make breakfast. Um, Thought I would make breakfast, showing you a great way to do um, poached eggs. Now, this has been done before. Um, the difference being that they're shown on places like America's Test Kitchen. It's been shown on all kinds of manner of shows. Now, what I've done in the past is I've used these guys. This is a vintage Miro one, probably dating back to the 60s, maybe. I picked it up probably 30 years ago, maybe longer than that, from some elderly members of good friends. It was either their, I think it was the matriarch of the mother of good friends of ours. She unfortunately passed away in 2019, but her mother and a good family friend who became sort of an honorary aunt, I believe, they were social workers and they shared a house. When Marjorie died first, when Elizabeth died a few years later in the mid-90s, I think I got this from them, if I'm not mistaken. It could be from either Annie Gladys or Velma Bishop on the paternal side of the family. Either way, it's been around a while and it's quite vintage, and you can still get these. They're inexpensive, made of aluminum, but I'm finding that they're kind of a pain to use, in part because when you look at the stove, there's the small burner. That takes up that much of the burner, and you notice it doesn't exactly sit very well, even. And so it kind of rocks, and this and that and the other thing. And this you have to put in like that. And then you have to take something like a pot holder or something like that just to grab hold of this, because this will be hot. It was never totally satisfactory. You can see on the side here, right there, that mark, that's how much water you put in there. And the steam gently poaches the egg. But the whole idea just never quite worked. And I've seen it done before, but I never really knew the correct way to do it, which I'll show you how. It's using that pot, this guy right here. And here is one I picked up a few years ago, and it's a 3-egg poacher. Same basic idea. The problem with these is the aluminum on these are a little bit thinner, and they're prone to bending and breaking and stuff. So once you put this in, that's your pot, and it has the same, I believe it's got the same mark that tells you how much water to put in. And I don't know who made this one, but it's vintage as well. Anyhow, neither one were very satisfactory, so I'm going to be getting rid of these, and I'll show you how I do poached eggs. So I'm going to park you on my head, and we'll get going from there. All right. I'm going to take a few moments here and put you on my head, and then we'll go from there and get things going. But before I do, I'm just going to show you, this is the pot. I'm going to use this 1.5 quart pot. But once I get get you mounted, we'll go and poach up some eggs. Now I've got you mounted. Get going. Okay. Now if you notice, That's about 1.5 to 2 inches maybe of water. You don't really need anything more than that. You need a pinch of salt, and normally you would do white vinegar, but I'm just going to use this because it's easy to maneuver. Because my white vinegar, distilled white vinegar, is in a big jug and it's not the easiest to maneuver. About a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar or white vinegar. That, and put it on high, and then I'll grab the eggs. You can do these in separate bowls, or you can use a measuring cup, a liquid measuring cup. So what I'm going to do, you don't want to break the yolks if you can help it. What I'm doing is I crack the eggs on the counter, and then I put them into bowls. That way you reduce the chances of getting eggshell in your eggs. Now we'll just wait for the water to come to a boil. Now we got the water coming to a boil. You just want to get it to a good rolling boil. As you can see, the lid's starting to shake. Put in one. Let it start. Take it off the boil. Put the other in. And then you set the timer for 3 minutes if you want soft boiled eggs. Soft poached. And you put the lid back on. And that is all you do. You just take it off the heat. This is really true if you're going to be using an electric stove for this. You want to take your pot off the burner because the burner will take a while to cool down. And you want the water to be still while this is happening. So you pull it off the heat onto another burner or in between, and you just let it sit for a few minutes. And it'll gently poach in the water. The salt and the vinegar together will cause the yolk to coagulate. Now, normally I would do this and then I would strain the yolks into something like this guy in a bowl because there's water in the eggs. Sometimes you get more, sometimes you get a little less, and draining that out helps. And I forgot to do that this morning. But that's what you do, and from that you let it sit for 3 minutes because I like my yolks to be runny, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'll just take this little bowl and this plate, get the toast going. Paper towel and slot spoon. Don't want to use something like this because you want to be able to you want to be able to scoop under the eggs easily, and this is not the best thing to use. A slot spoon or a skimmer skimmer will work really well for this. You want to be able to drain the water so that you don't end up with water in your bowl, in your eggs. Good enough. There. That is how you do poached eggs. Now what I'm doing here is I'm draining any water that might be present. And there you go. You won't get all the water out, but you'll be able to get a good chunk of it out. Just put those in there. Okay. Next, some little salt. And a little pepper. And my toast just came up, so perfect timing. All right. So that goes right there. And that, as you saw, is the finished poached eggs. Now you can use that same method to if you want to do, say, eggs Benedict for a crowd. And then there is a method to keeping them warm until you're ready to serve. But that's how you would do it in the pot like that, or a bigger pot. Put them all in. You can do like a half dozen or more, depending on how many people you do. And you just drain them, put them out, and onto your English muffins with everything in an assembly line, and you serve them. Anyhow, that's how you do it, and that's my breakfast. So I'm going to sit down and eat while they're still warm, and then I can dip the toast into the runny yolks and enjoy them. So if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button, and if you want to subscribe, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified. It'll do this channel a world of good, and I'll see you on the next one.